Okay, let's talk about what the deal is with private and public. Private is to cause the access to that variable to be restricted, meaning I'll just show you, if I set it to be public, okay, and let's take away this set top speed just for a minute. So public is set as a private variable now. It doesn't have a set top speed function. That will give me some errors here. Look, I can't do c1.setTopSpeed 100, but I can just do this. c1.topspeed equals 100. Okay, just like here I could do c2.topspeed equals 290. Alright, and as long as I don't have those set top speeds anymore, this program will behave in exactly the same way as before. It prints out the top speed of 100 of 290 and minus 1 for the car, which I deliberately obviously didn't give any values to. Right, so there is a bit of a problem in this. This is one class, the program class, within the main method, directly accessing the top speed value, the top speed variable of C1 and here of C2, and being allowed to change it without any rules or anything in place. Okay, I could put whatever I want there. Minus 290. Okay, except that, because that's a number which isn't acceptable as an integer. I'd have to change it to type long if I wanted a number that big. An object-oriented programs, the point of an object-oriented program, if you don't know already, is that you're going to have tons of objects in existence in an object-oriented program. If you're writing a program which is object-oriented, it's often going to be a much bigger program than the type that you've often had to write at GCSE level. It might be a program with 50 classes in it, and 50 programmers all working on the program at the same time, but they're all working on their own classes, so they're not really coming into conflict with each other too much. But allowing one programmer to set the variable of a class, of an object, of a copy of a class, just like this, is dangerous, because then the behavior of that class might be unexpected if that value after the equals sign was something which the programmer who made that class didn't expect it to have. Okay, so you should generally keep key class variables private, and then have a set method. So I'm going to reverse this. Have set methods like I did with set top speed and set model, and put rules in them. Okay, so let's put top speed back to private. Let's restore this to the way it was before, but now let's make it so that you can't set the top speed to be a number bigger than, let's say, I don't know, 300, because 300 miles an hour is a pretty fast car, and let's say in your game, the fastest you can actually drive around any track with all of the the boost items that you pick up along the way, and using your nitro or whatever. Let's say that 300 is the absolute max, because after that it gets too difficult to navigate the course at all, because if you're going around the tracks that have been designed in this game at faster than 300, you literally have no control and the game starts to get all weird. Okay, so let's say 300 should be the top speed. Alright, so if x is less than or equal to 300, then make top speed equal to x. But I don't have to have curly braces, or I can do, but if I've only got the one line of code, top speed equals x, then an if statement can just be without curly braces. What do we do in the else situation? Well, we kind of need to tell the user that something's gone wrong. Let's just do something really basic for now. Error, top speed cannot exceed 300, the speed has not been set. Alright, now let's run our code, and for now, with 100 and 290, we should have no issue whatsoever. Okay, let's put this three-wheeler at 300. That should still work because it was less than or equal to 300. Yeah, so that works. Because there, if x is less than or equal to 300, let's put it to 301. Okay, error, top speed cannot exceed 300, the speed has not been set. And then the three-wheeler's top speed therefore is -1, which makes sense because -1 was the value which I told the class variable to be until it's been set in a valid way. Okay, now that's fine. Let's do the same thing for say making it that it can't be a negative number either. So if x is less than or equal to 300 and x is greater than, you shouldn't really be allowed to set the top speed of a vehicle to 0, but let's just say that it has to be between 0 and 300. Okay, so as long as x is less than or equal to 300 and double ampersand sign x is greater than or equal to 0, then set it. Okay, now my error message can just be a bit more generic. Error, invalid top speed given. Okay, let's double check that works. It should still be the 301 error here. Yep, let's set it to 0. That is the lower boundary of what's acceptable. You know, I did say greater than or equal to 0, so that's fine. But what about -1? Error, invalid top speed given. So the three-wheeler still has the default value of -1 for its speed, which is, funnily enough, the value I was just trying to pass to it. So let's try to pass it at -100. Invalid top speed given, its value is still -1. Okay, so that's what we expect. What kind of value would you not want to accept for a model if you're going to give the model of a car to change it from unnamed? Are there any rules? Well, with strings, there aren't too many rules to follow. You can't say, oh, it's only allowed to be one word, or you can't even say it has to start with a capital letter, because some cars just might not. But let's say that s has to be greater than length 0. Okay, so if s dot length is greater than 0, then set the model to be the value of s. Do something very similar here, else console.writeLine error invalid model given must not be left empty. Okay, let's try that then. Let's try, instead of three-wheeler, setting it to the empty string, just 2 sets of speech marks. Invalid model given must not be left empty, so the model remains unnamed with top speed of 100. Okay, let's put literally one thing in there. Okay, we don't get that error anymore. We've got model H, top speed 100. Okay, so that works. So already we've made a much better program with a couple of if-else statements basically in our set methods. We call these setters, setter methods. You can also call them mutators because their aim as a method is to mutate or set the value of a key class variable. And now we're beginning to control the access. So now some random programmer, who's just joined the team last week and who's, designing some other completely different part of the game, the high score system, another level, let's say he's trying to jazz up the way the power-ups work or something like that, and he makes a power-up which sets your top speed, but he no longer is allowed to go c1.topspeed equals, because I literally don't have, you can see that I'm not allowed to do that. If I do c1.topspeed equals, just not allowed. That's just, it's private, so can't do that. So I have to use the set top speed method, and then I think I am still allowed to do that, so that other programmer isn't prevented from making it an absolutely massive number. Oh no, I did. I set it as a max of 300, didn't I? So there we go. I protected it against that rogue coder who wanted to make one of the cars go ridiculously fast now. and I've also made it so that the model can't be left empty. So there you go. That's public and private, at least some of the important aspects of what public and private is all about explained to you. So good luck getting that going in your code.